So I'm finally on the last bits of testing here. I've got the CANbus wiring in the car for the rear control unit. And I'm just doing some preliminary tests with the CANbus messaging before I button everything up and run the CANbus wires up to the front of the car and get things all terminated up there. So what I've currently got is I've got new control unit, 12-volt power supply in place of the battery, since the battery's not in the car. I've got an amp meter here monitoring the total current going into this block, this module, just to see what different systems pull. So far everything's looking good. I've got my laptop, a couple things running here. So on the left is the serial print serial data that I have printing from the Arduino right here. So it's USB into the computer. And then on the top right here is the Pecan viewing software for this Pecan dongle. So this is a CANbus sending and receiving module. And so I've got him connected to CAN high and CAN low, and all of this goes into here. So effectively, the computer through this is sending and receiving CAN messages to the Arduino, just like the car will. And so I've got a few different test cases here set up, so you can see the comments. I've got different engine RPMs, where I can essentially turn these messages on and off. I've got the S mode, so the RS4, of course, has the S mode button on the dash. So when the S mode is off, it'll send one CAN message. When the S mode is on, it'll send a different, I should say, a different data packet in the message. And then I've got some examples of signals that I will generate myself. Those commands include boost control PWM, or duty cycle rather. So I've got boost control off, so that's 0 duty cycle. I've got a 50% duty cycle, and then this third is back off again. And then 3 different scenarios here. So it also includes the bypass valve, so that's the bypass valve for the e-boosters. Bypass valve open, open, and closed. Also here, this is just updating every couple seconds, looking at engine RPM that the Arduino sees, boost control solenoid, PWM, or really duty cycle I should say, commanded bypass valve position, and actual position, and those are in percentage. So if I come over here, and let's pretend like the engine cranks up. So already keys on effectively because the unit's powered up. So if engine cranks up, the Arduino sees 1000 RPM, and that's one of the conditions it uses to turn on the oil scavenge pump. So if the engine stops running, the Arduino sees 0 engine RPM, and the oil scavenge pump stops running. It also looks at the turbo oil inlet pressure as a secondary or an alternative, so that if one signal falls out, the other one's still available. S mode on and off is just for the exhaust valve solenoid. So let's see, S mode on, you'll hear a small click from over here. Let's see here. There you go. There you hear the small click. It was left on from the last time. So this effectively just toggles that solenoid on and off. So I'm going on. You can hear that. And back off again. Alright. And then the last 3 here. So this guy here is essentially the reset, so I won't hit him yet because everything is currently off. boost control 50% duty cycle. So that's this boost control solenoid hanging out down here, which I'm going to mount after I'm done testing. But you'll hear as soon as I click this, you hear that solenoid cycling. And if you look over here at the serial data, you'll see the PWM is 50. If I go back to, if I turn that messaging off, and I turn this messaging on, that takes it back to 0. So that allows the CAN data to command the duty cycle of the boost control solenoid. And so I can have boost control logic stored elsewhere and just send that over CAN to the rear unit. Same thing here for the bypass valve. So I've got, right now I've just got open and closed, 2 positions, but right now it's open. Default is open. So if I hit this, you'll hear it cycle, or rather open. And you'll see which I need to adjust. The 255 is effectively 100% on the commanded, and its actual is reading 99% open, which is as close to 100 as you can get on a mapped value. And then I'll go back here to, that's closed again, and you see everything's back 0 again. All right, so I managed to do another over 6-minute video of that, but things are working like I want, and I'm stoked.